Welcome to Mako Plays Satisfactory. Here we are with what we achieved last time, which is our coal power build right now. So this is taking care of sustainability of power needs, and we've got some capacity in this as well to add some more buildings. We will have to come and flesh this out periodically as we expand our factories. But our focus now is shifting towards getting basic steel production up and running, which we're going to look to do this episode. Once we've got a basic steel factory there, then we will be in a position to use that steel to get hold of the blueprints tier and the Mark III belts tier, and that's really going to unlock bigger, more complex, and factories that will want to invest more in the design of as well. Been throwing a lot of things together kind of quick and not really worrying about how long-term sustainable the design and the ability to expand them are up until now to get us to this point. But we're really close to the start of the game where I want to start to dedicate more care and attention into making sure that our builds are sustainable and expandable going forward. We're about ready to get started here. We do have near to here the two things that we need for coal, which are the two things that we need for steel, excuse me, which are coal. Got several normal coal nodes around here. And also iron. It's the combination of those two things that's going to allow us to make steel. And we have an iron node right over there. Next to these two normal coal nodes we have a pure iron node, so that makes a perfect place for a starter steel production line. One thing that I do need to do is take us back to the hub to actually unlock the steel tier, so let's teleport right over there. Okay, so let's get this milestone changed over. Was originally planning on going blueprints first, but I definitely think it makes more sense to go with steel right now. We've got most of what we need here, we just need a handful more modular frames, so let's craft a few of those manually. Should also look, once we've unlocked steel, at what's required to build any steel-specific buildings like the Foundry. If that's going to take modular frames in any kind of volume, then we may want to look at getting at least some simple automation set up for modular frames, because we don't have that just yet. Let's craft another handful of these so we've at least got them. And then we'll get that steel unlocked and see what they look like.
Milestone reached. Steel production unlocked. Foundry grants access to new, simple steel parts. An additional project part can now be constructed. Progress to the next phase is now possible.
Well, we are not interested in the next space elevator phase right now. Not interested in vehicles or improved melee combat right now either, so our next thing to work towards is going to be either blueprints or logistics Mark III here. That takes steel and modular frames. That takes steel and steel. I'm going to say we'll do logistics and then we'll do fix-it blueprints. Unless there's anything kind of secondary in any of these tiers. Mark II miners might be handy to have. Let's do that and we'll worry about the miners later on. So we have a new building in here which is a foundry. Foundries take in two types of ore and smelt those into alloy ingots, so in this case we'll be doing that with coal and iron ore to make steel. It's a building with two inputs and one output like that. Going to take in iron ore, coal and give us 45 steel ingots. We don't have any alternative steel recipes unlocked just yet. I'm pretty sure there is a steel ingot recipe that's better and more efficient than this one. And then with those steel ingots, I think we're just working with normal constructors and assemblers to make any steel parts. Yeah, steel beams take 60 ingots per minute and give us 50 steel beams, so not remotely efficient, but it's all we've got to work with. Steel pipes are a little more efficient, 30 in, 20 out. So, what did we have over there? We had normal coal nodes and a pure iron node. So that's, let's say we've got 120 of each coming in here. 45. If we build 3 foundries and have them slightly underfed, then we can get 120 steel ingots out per minute. So we'll want to figure out how to make best use of that into a reasonable but small number of beams and pipes. Let's head back over to the steel location and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so here we are back next to our power plant, looking out at where our steel production is going to be. Where is the iron? It's over there. I stopped off along the way to craft some more modular frames and a couple of miners, which are all the things we're really going to need. It takes 10 modular frames per foundry, so we only needed a stack of 30 in total. Looks like the iron's probably up on that ridge there, yep. And coal somewhere around here. Oh, I'm literally standing right on top of it. Normal node, combine those together to get 120 coal. And there's our 120 pure iron node up there. So this is a good place to build. I'm thinking we should maybe do it off the ground a little bit. Let's whack down a keystone foundation here. I think we can build out over this area. Not sure quite how much space we need for this. Probably want that to be a little further along, to be fair. Let's try here so we don't collide with that rock quite so much. That works. Let's see if this is enough space to work with. We can always expand a little bit more if we do need to. Let's give us another row here. Or 2. Alright, and it looks like it's up here. It's kind of annoying that you do have to get rid of these to place the miners, because I'm not going to do anything with raw iron ore at this point. But anyway. Right, let's drop our miner on there, like on the node, there we go. And yes, that's pure, so we're going to be Mark II belting that over to the back of our platform here. Coal will have coming up. Maybe coming up this side here, if that'll look okay. Oops. That's probably enough space for a couple of belts in here without clipping too badly on the geometry. I say a couple, we can merge everything onto the one line, because there's not that much of it. Yeah, let's give that a try. So, let's point the output back over in that sort of direction. I feel like maybe we're not going to have enough room to work with here. Let's try it, see what happens. Oh, and I need another miner. Okay, stop being in the way, creatures. Right. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, let's go back up top and we'll set ourselves a or one of those things, conveyor thingy to help guide us. A conveyor pole, one of those things. We're going to be running two different types of resource here. So one's going to run on the ground level like this, and one's going to run higher like this. In fact, could we do it with a stackable pole? Let's try that, see how that works. We'll run the iron straight onto the top line there, run at the coal. Up. Reverse that. What we need is enough space to merge the two lines together before they come into the lift here. Which is doable. I think we're just going to have to turn this miner in the other direction. This is going to look slightly spaghetti underneath, but that's all right. It's the it's the lower workings of a coal mining operation. Not meant to be neat. Let's get a merger like so. Probably wants to be a tier higher than this. That way. No, it's not an invalid shape for the belt at all. It's completely valid. Yeah, that's nowhere near aligned. I wasn't sure if that guiding line was coming from the node itself or the miner, but it looks like it must be coming from the miner. It is! Hurrah! There we go. Now we just run our Mark II belt over there to the lifter. Get some power down. And we will be good. That was a bit of lag there. I assume it's just auto-saved. And we need some power up to the top as well. And then you want to there. Which I'm now realising we could have built all of this half a tile more sort of over here. Give us a little bit more space to play with on this side. Oh well, it's not going to be a big build anyway. It's not going to be a long-term build either. These foundries, if we pop it about there, hopefully that doesn't look too misaligned. I think that looks alright. That'll give us enough space to do the splitting of the belts in here. So we're gonna, what are we gonna? Do like that, but in line with the stackable pole instead. That. Maybe we should just run that onto the ground floor to begin with. The thing with these stackable poles is like the bottom one. So this doesn't, like, you can run a belt through them, but the game doesn't want to use that as like a snappable input for snapping like belts and lifts and things to them. Like, it wants you to go from this to this, or from this to this. And if you've got something running through the middle, like, it'll let you run a belt through the middle there, but you'll notice that's not like snapping there. Which is why the conveyor lift from the floor below didn't want me to, like, it wouldn't have been the easiest thing in the world to get it aligned to snap to the ground floor. If we'd been doing that, we would have probably put a pole down there and then done it that way. Is that worth redoing? Is that going to annoy me that much? Probably not. Probably only if we were going to be looking at it a lot, and we are not really. So second input is going to need to be higher. Coming from that way, and we'll run that from here to here. And then we'll just run our line down here and do three versions of this. Okay, you're all making steel ingots. And then let's run that back on a line down to this way, ready to split into our steel constructors. So each of these doing, if they were being fully fed, they'd each be doing 45 per minute. However, we're only dragging 120 in across the three. 120 in means 120 out. So that's what we've got to work with here, is 120 steel ingots. And we're going to have constructors with two different ratios. Beams, 60 in, 15 out. Pipes, 30 in, 20 out. So if we do one pipe constructor and 1.5 beam constructors, that's going to give us 20 pipes and something like 22 beams per minute. That feels like the way to go here. And when I say 1.5, we could just have the pipes constructor be first, so that we know that it's going to be fully fed, and just trust the throughput of the belts to underfeed the last one. However, given that we know it's going to be underfed anyway, one thing we can do is clock it down here to 50%, and what that's going to do is decrease the power draw. In this case, it's really minor. It's going to chop the power draw down from 4% to from 4 megawatts to 2 megawatts. And in fact, I'm going to say that's not worth doing. I assume that's consistent regardless of recipe. Yeah, it is. Not worth doing. And the reason why I'll say it's not worth doing is if our steel pipes container fills up, then the pipes constructor will stop drawing any more steel ingots from the line. That lets this machine get fed more. So in fact, if we fill a container with steel pipes, then this one can be running at full capacity. Whereas if we underclock it at 50%, it's only ever going to run at half capacity and produce 7.5 per minute. So in general, underclocking when you know you're going to be starved for resource is good to save on power. In this case, saving 2 megawatts of power, not worth it in my opinion, when there is a tangible benefit to letting it run as if it's running at 100%. Why isn't that doing what I think it should do? Oh, these need to be splitters, not mergers. Yeah, there is tangible benefit to leaving it at 100%, and we'll just let the belt's throughput kind of, you know, manage itself. So long as we put our pipes constructor first in the chain, then we know that's getting everything it should do. Whatever's left over can go to the beams constructors. We know most of the time that's going to be not enough for both of them, but we're not going to be coming back and checking in here very often, so it's possible our storage will get filled. So pipes in one, beams in the other two, and of course they need power. And then you're going to run straight out into a merger, and you two, not a merger, a storage, and you two are going to merge. Oh, storing. Can I stand on that? No? It's not very polite of you. And what I want to do is not have the storage just up here, because it's going to be further to run for something we're going to have to come back to every so often. So let's run a walkway out here towards our power factory. And I did build this ramp that you can see in the background here, which connects to our quartz production, so it's like just at the side of our main base. Let's just run this. We'll belt all of this down here and add some storage here. I don't think I want to go to the hassle of belting it all the way back to the main base, considering how little of it we're going to be doing, and the fact that this is like a temporary small build. But let's at least belt it this far. That'll kind of cut down on the amount we have to run to get here. That's going to annoy me. Let's go 1 square less far. And then we can just use a 1 meter ramp so this aligns nicely. I know what I'm talking about. What are you producing? Nowhere near 60 per minute, right? Like 22 and 20. So Mark 1 belts will do here. Alright, let's get some storage down here. And then these should hopefully be producing things. Yes, they are. Cool. Alright, beams. Pipes? No? Can I? Thank you. Pipes on this one. Oh no, the thing didn't. Oh yeah. That didn't quite happen. Hey, you know what? We have signs. We don't need to worry about this nonsense anymore. I completely forgot that we organised some signage. One that's like a good size. Yes. It's a quartz crystal, which is not too far away. I'm definitely going to need to start carrying quartz crystal on me, because signs are... they are pretty darn good for, you know, letting you know what's in a thing. Oh, that was something else that I wanted to do to discuss as well, is beacons for factory kind of map organisation. How do signs work? You don't need to craft them right now, they just consume the resource. Cool. Alright. Do presets carry over from game to game? They do not. Okay, then let's just pick a one here. That looks pretty nice. Right, what have we got here? Steel pipes. I do wish, I really do, that if you picked the image it would just do this. Which is a really minor thing. But just like, you end up making so many signs over the course of the game. It's like, oh, I want to go in, I want it to have the right image, I also want it to have the right text. It does just get tedious. Copy pasting settings is excuse me. There we go. Is a nice thing. Steel beams. blue probably wants to be a little darker. It's a little bit more legible. There we go. Save that. Does that overwrite the other one? It does. No, it does not. I have no idea what's going on there. Let's call it blue sign. I can get rid of old ones like that. Cool. That's what I wanted to do. Alright, nice. Okay, cool. Good. Then for you... Cool. Pipes. Beams. Literally tens of each. Everyone's happy. We need 200 for that Logistics Mark III, and then we need some more steel beams for the blueprints. So we're going to want to let that run for a little bit. In the meanwhile, we've done that. We've done that. So, beacons. Beacons. I'm not sure at which tier we unlock them. I can't remember if it was a MAM thing or a hub milestone thing. But we did breeze right past them when we first unlocked them. And we're going to want at least a few. So how do they work now? They go into a hand slot. You admire them. Nice. Click to place them, and then rather than dropping anything physical into the world now, it drops you that marker, which you can see on the compass there. That's a map marker. I'm running slightly away from it so that my player marker doesn't overlap it, so that we can get in and edit it here. So this is power, none of which are really implied by any of these icons. Let's say that this tent or whatever it is power. No, let's say that plants are power. Plants become coal over time, right? Unless there's a more fitting icon in here. Power, there we go. This is coal, so probably fairly dark. View it from far, and then it will just help us to find our way around our factory. I'm not sure about the dark colour. It does look like coal, but it doesn't exactly look like power, if you get my drift. There we go. That's a little better. Cool. So you get these preset markers for your space elevator and your hub, and then anything else you want to drop down. Beacons. Like, for example, steel production. Let's go and drop another one over there. Like, a little bit redundant maybe when the factories as small and the various, you know, micro factories are as near each other as they are now. But it does help when out exploring in the world and you need to get back somewhere for resources or to connect to a power grid or something like that. And yeah, just generally nice to feel organised as well. Nice to be able to look at your map and to get a handle on where things are. this is reduction. I mean, it's not a big factory. I probably want to save that icon for big factories. Let's give it a little storage thing and be like, hey, here's... No, because our steel storage isn't actually here. Am I overthinking this? Is that possible? Okay, steel. What says steel? Like a dark blue. Let's just call it steel. Nice. Alright, let's grab these as we're going. And we're going to want to head back to base with, hopefully, enough of these steely components unlocked to get our next couple of hub tier upgrades. And then we'll be well on our way to bigger and better factories. What do we got? We got 150, we need 200 steel beams. I am just going to let that idle for a little bit. So yeah, let me pause the recording. We'll come back when we've got a few hundred steel beams and head off and unlock blueprints and Mark III belts. Alright, that's been running for a while now. We've got 100 and odd steel pipes and nearly 400 steel beams. That's definitely enough for the logistics unlock. I think we might need a few more things for the blueprints unlock. But let's head on back and we'll check that out. Now, from memory, there's quite a long period kind of between having the Mark III belts unlocked before you get up to Mark IV. So I do think we're going to be running with 270 as our cap for throughput for a while, which is enough to definitely do some expanding that we've been not doing in the meantime, partly due to not having blueprints and partly due to not having that extra throughput.
Milestone reached. Logistics can be improved with a larger storage container and enhanced conveyor belt efficiency.
And finish your sentence, Ada. Also the ability to store power, assuming that's still in that tier and that hasn't been removed. Yeah, power storage. So lots of stuff that's actually really handy to have there. We've got the Mark III belts, which require steel beams to build, same as the Mark III lifts. Storage is the industrial storage, which take pipes and beams but give 48 slots versus 24, so yeah, twice as much storage. It's the same as stacking two storage containers on top of each other in terms of footprint. But yeah, it does mean that you can just like feed one in, whereas if you do the storage container on top of storage container thing, if you want to feed items into both, you have to do this like build a lift to throughput items into one, and then, you know, if this one has items but this one doesn't, you've got to jump up and grab them and stuff. So it's like a quality of life thing to have the industrial storage container. We'll hit a point where we've got so much steel that we're just only using those and not really using the standard storage containers. Right, what do I want to look at? How much do we need for blueprints? Yeah, need another 30 odd steel beams, and we also need a bunch of modular frames. Concrete we've got, cables we've got. So modular frames. Rather than adding a bunch of extra complexity to our iron production now, because I think the modular frame recipe is quite complex. Yeah, it takes reinforced iron plates and either screws or beams. Rather than mess with our production chain there, given that we need 100 and then we're going to need like some small amount of them for extra buildings like foundries and stuff. We don't need tons of them in the short term is the point I'm trying to make there. Then I'm going to set up some temporary crafting for that. Well, let's grab a bunch of reinforced plates here. Oh, the inventory limit. And rods or screws were the two recipes. Right, so let's set ourselves a little area here to work in. This is something that I have a tendency to do when we need like slightly more complex parts than we want to fully automate right now, is to just temporarily automate them. So if we take an assembler and drop it down here, take another assembler and drop it down here. What we can do is just set this going to modular frames. We're going to take 3 per minute, gives us 2 per minute, 3 and 12 rods, or 7.5, gives us 5 per minute, so this one's definitely going to be quicker. What do we need? We need reinforced plates, and we need screws. Let's just chuck a couple of boxes down here. And just feed them into these, so we'll just drop the items manually into the storage containers rather than linking these to our existing like setup. It does mean manually adding stuff, of course, but that's okay. Screw belts actually need to be Mark IIs. If we drop our reinforced iron plates in here, our screws in here, and then if we give this some power, let's just extend our foundations as well. Ah, damn it. Alright. Let's just drop a little merger here. Not in that direction though. Why am I struggling so much with this? Now we just need some more screws and plates. Like, we're not looking to have infinite self-sustaining modular frame. We will get to that, of course. We'll refactor this entire iron build and do more with it. But for now, all I want is, like, you know, enough to get us through the next tier and maybe have a have a few that we can in storage that we can go and grab whenever we do need to build like a foundry or a machine that takes them. And so this'll let us do that. We can just leave these idling for, you know, 20 minutes or something like that. And this will give us our 100 modular frames that we need for that next milestone. So yeah, what else do we need? We need cables, which we have plenty of. Oh, say we have plenty, it needs 500, so let's grab another couple of stacks. We need 1,000 concrete, which we don't quite have on us, but we do now. We need some extra steel from that steel factory. And then we just need to give it a little bit of time for the modular frames to build up there. Let's go down and grab the steel, see how many's ready for us when we come back. What do we need? 200. We got 221. Nice. Let's grab some extra pipes while we're here, because we probably need them for something. Yeah, there's 20 there already. How many do we have on us? We've got 30 in total. So yeah, just a few minutes for this to run through and do its thing. This episode's getting kind of long though, so I think what we'll do is call it here for a day. I'll let it run a little bit before we come back next episode, and the first thing we'll do will be to unlock the blueprints there. Let me just update that to-do list there, because we have Mark III belts. We need blueprints unlocked. In fact, let's just remind ourselves next time that we did that. 3 belts. Alright, as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time on the next episode of Satisfactory. Cheers all.